Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am excited today because we have Maria Freyetta, and she is from the Knockbox. And I hope I'm saying that correctly. And if I'm not, Maria, you can just correct me.
That's
But I'm
okay. Yep.
excited because it's really a way for us to organize our important documents. And you know how I am about that. So, Maria, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting. This is great.
So before we get in talk about the product, really what made you decide to create the product? Because as I was sharing with you, I saw it on Instagram and I was like, oh my goodness, I got so excited. So what made you decide to create the product?
It's funny. People do get oddly excited about this product. We have a little bit of a following. It's kind of funny. It's called the Knockbox because it's the next of kin box. And I created it because we experienced a loss. My father passed away several years ago, and my two adult brothers and I went to go manage his estate like siblings and kids would. And he had a box and a folder that said, "Here's everything you need." And we opened it up and it had his will in it. And that was it. So, and then we realized, well, he's got a snowmobile outside with no key. And he's got a golf cart and we don't know, how to run that. And he's got a boat in New Jersey and a camper in Florida and all these things, thing
Oh
after thing
yeah.
after thing. And so we had to get organized and figure it out. And I set up this whole system because that's the older sister's job, to do that. And it worked. And then I went home and realized I'm a single parent. If something happened to me, it's kind of a mess here too. I am super organized, but I don't think my brother, who would be my person, my next of kin, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he'd know how to find those little things. We think
Mm-hmm.
we're organized with our legal documents, but it's all of that other stuff that is really hard for people to manage.
And I got excited because I'm single. So I'm single, no children. And I was like, wow, my best friend, she's the executor. And I got excited because it's like, it makes it easier for her. Because
That's right.
all she's got to do, all I got to say is just the box, and she'll know what I'm talking about and everything. Because, like you said, you go and you think, oh, it's just this, but then there's so much more to our lives, and so many numbers and keys, etc. Which is why I just got excited, and I just geeked out when, of course, I looked on your YouTube page and I just saw how you really put it together. So, you know. When it does come, I mean, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but what are some of the things that we just really should not do when it does come to things like that, like those
Right. I
important
think,
documents?
yeah, even when people see our ads, they make comments and they say, this should be legal sized and this should be locked away in a safe, this information. And I think that's the misconception across the board. Yes, you need legal documents and you need some of those sorts of things, of course. But this particular product, it addresses those. And actually, if you don't have them, it marks, I don't have them, so please don't look for them. And that's important too. But this is really about just unlocking everything in our lives. We're far more locked up than we think we are. I mean, we have so much online, and then we still have mail coming into the house, and nobody knows their passwords. I don't know about you, but I change my passwords all the time because I can't keep them. Nobody can figure that stuff out. We just are everywhere. And I think when we make that little notebook or that little list for our next of kin and say, here's my will and here's my life insurance, we think we're ultra prepared, but we are, again, just not. You have to think of all those. Think about your friend. I say, okay, if I'm picturing my brother or a friend
Mhm,
or whomever
mhm,
it is,
mhm, mhm.
something happened to you tomorrow and they're walking into your house, what would they find? I always tell people that. They're
And that
like,
is
oh, let's start with the junk drawer. It's a mess. They wouldn't find anything.
and
So,
that's
right?
true.
Picture that. Someone just coming over and taking over your life. It's complicated these days.
And that is true. And I still remember what my best friend told me when my mother passed away, and she was helping me, call people, etc. And she looked at me and she says, please get an address book.
Mm-hmm.
Please. So it'll
Mm-hmm.
make it easier, even if I just have to call people and just tell them, look, you can't call Janet for a couple of months because she's just in recovery somewhere. But please, and I did that. I have a physical, even though everything's supposed to be on the cell phone, but I still have a physical address book because
Yep.
she said that. And you're right. Sometimes it's just like with the passwords. Yes, I keep getting that notice, Janet. It's time for you to change your password. And then I really freaked out, Maria, because somebody said, well, you got to create a 16 character password.
I
And
know.
I was like, oh my.
Okay. And then how many contacts do you have in your phone? I probably have a few hundred.
Yeah,
I don't know that my next of kin would know which ones are.
yeah.
This is one of my favorite little parts of the box. We have a sheet that addresses this, and it just says, give us one name from the different aspects of your life. So give us a high school friend's name, give us a relative, give us the neighborhood, whatever kind of groups and things you're involved in, give us somebody. And then the next of kin has to contact those 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and they will then go and, tell everybody else or whatever. So they
And
don't have
it's
to dig through your phone knowing who is who. I wouldn't know who to reach out to, and
And that
a
is
friend's
true.
phone.
And you're right.
Mhm.
That's true because not everybody in my phone really needs to know. And it's like, okay, I've got the address book and I put little names. Okay, this is the cousin, this is the aunt, this is so you're right. So you're right. So for somebody who would just look at it and like, okay, I know I need to do it.
Mhm.
But then all of a sudden they're like the deer in the headlights. It's like, okay, I don't know what to do, how to start,
I
etc.
know.
And I love the way in the video where you just really kind of like laid everything out and it was like, wow, and everything, and of course everything was color coded. Okay, I'm geeking out again, Marie. But
Yeah.
but for those people who just really like, okay, I know I need to do it. And I see it last year and the year before that, but how do I
Mhm.
get started?
Yes, because sometimes people buy it and it sits for months. It's like a gym membership. And we're like, don't just, you have to do it. And we have very specific directions when you open that box. It's like, okay, if you'd like to start small, here's what you should do. If you want to work on this with your spouse, go get a bottle of wine and here's what you're going to do. And so we give you some ways to just get motivated. And then it really is section by section. There's no order. You can pick an easy one. You can pick a hard one. You can say, let me just start with my house bills. When I pay them this month, I'll just worry about those. And we try to make it as simple as we can because it's a big, giant task. Back to that, it should be in something fireproof, which we do have. But, I'm like, if that box burned up or was destroyed, the only problem you've got is you have to do that work again. You have to do all the work. It's work is what you're doing to put this thing together. It is not sacred documents or information. It's going through this process. We do have a group that I think we have a couple thousand members in it now, a little
Oh,
Facebook
wow.
group. And we have a life coach in there, and she helps people through that process too. Every week she'll say, oh, let's talk about our insurance. Who's got what? Let's pull those files out. Make sure your insurance is updated. What did you find? And then people start talking and they say, oh, I realized my policy expires next month and I didn't know that or whatever. So we do have some support for people as well
Oh, well,
if they
that's
need it.
good.
But yeah, the color coding is sort of to help, and one little topic at a time is meant to help. And we do give really clear directions, like just go get this, check this box, and then
Hmm.
you're good to go on this particular
And
topic.
I like the size. I mean, yes, I have people saying, well, things are legal, but how many documents are really legal? Most of the time, it's a legal document, and my mind comes to like the mortgage and things like that. And other
Right.
than that, everything else is small. It
And
makes it
even
compact.
that's right. Even those, we just say if you need to, um, sorry, if you need to have something like that, like a serious document, just tell people where it is in the next of kin box. You don't need to store it in here. You can store it in a safe or safe deposit box, whatever you want to do. But this kit is to unlock and give a roadmap to find those things rather than to store again every essential document that there is. We give you a little
Hmm.
bag for those. We're like, put your
I
passports and things
know.
in this little zipper
I
bag.
know. I saw the
Put that in
bag.
the
I saw the labels. I'm like, okay,
safe.
I'm geeking out over here.
Mhm.
So, so Maria, this is a question I ask all my guests. How do you stay organized? Is it, do you have like a planner? Do you
Mhm.
or how do you plan your day, or just how do you stay organized? Because
Yeah,
you're juggling so many things as well.
it's really hard. And I did swear by my paper planner for many, many years, but I
Okay.
just discovered this is a great thing. I have an iPad, which I didn't know what to do with. Here's this iPad. I don't know if you have one. You're like, what do you do with this thing? I started using it as a daily planner. And I sort of have a template for every day that I should get the things I should get done that day. And then I have my to-do list. And it's terrific because you can digitally just scribble. You're still writing in
Mhm.
handwriting, which I
Mhm.
like to
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
Cross things off, but then at the end, you can just erase the whole thing and start again. Leave
Mhm.
the template up so you know what you're doing next Tuesday, or keep things that you didn't do. It's a really nice. It's a digital paper planner is what I use. So
Mm.
that's what I do. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know that. That's nice, and I always tell people sometimes try to learn just one thing, with all the devices, just one new thing. So
Yeah.
that's good. Thank you so much for sharing it. So
Yeah.
how can people, those watching, listening, connect with you, get the product? I'm
So we
over
have a
here like,
website. We have a website, and that's the only place you can buy it. We don't sell on Amazon or anything like that. It is knockbox.com. But if you search for Knockbox or next of kin box, it'll pop up. We're the only one. And for your listeners, if you would like to use a coupon code, we're going to do Get Organized 20, right? Get Organized 20 for 20% off a kit. So we have a few different options, but all of the kits are the same. You can buy the kit with no box, buy it with a plastic box, buy it with a fireproof box, but they're all the same. So they can get 20% off of whatever one that they choose.
all right, you hear that, listeners and those watching. And of course, I will be posting a link in the chat. So you can just click that link and then you can get your next of kin box and start organizing your things. I mean, it's always a great time of year.
It
Make
is.
this the year to be the year where, you actually do that. My goodness, bring it to the family reunion. Let everybody have one and you just do it as a family because then everybody will know okay, you got your stuff. Well, and motivate other members. I mean, maybe I can do that. Hey, you know what? I can do that. You're motivating me to do that. We have a Facebook family page. I'll,
You
I'll
would not
start the
believe
charge.
the conversations that people have. I've sat at people's dining room tables with the whole family and gone through the box with them. You wouldn't believe the information that they start sharing with each other that they wouldn't have.
Yeah,
All kinds of family things come up and they're like, "Wow, mom, why did you never tell me that? We never thought
yeah,
about it before."
yeah,
So every age, this works for everybody, whether you're starting out in life or you're older, whatever it is. You don't have to be about to die to get this box.
yeah.
It really just helps you manage your household, manage your things, and get organized.
Yes, and they make great gifts.
They
I'm
do.
just saying that they make really great gifts. If you know
People,
somebody
yes.
who's just got stuff shoved in a bag or in a corner, get
Yep,
one. Get one.
that's it.
Well, thank you so much, Maria. It has been a joy to speak with you. And thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today.
Same. This was great. Thank you so much.